sac passe. Where's my water? Okay, it's right there. YouTube world. How are you doing? We are today Friday. Um, that's mommy right there. That's my mom. That's my dad. I'm in the living room. I'm in the the bigger living room. So first we are today February 14, 2020. Happy Valentine's Day to those of you who celebrate this holiday. I do. We've always celebrated Valentine's Day in my family when I was a kid. My parents always exchanged, my father always showered my mother with a lot of love, beautiful, beautiful flowers for her, and a lot of chocolates. And as we grew up, we were always exchanging like cards. We would like make cards for our parents. So it is a holiday that I do celebrate. I don't only look at it as a lover's day, and it's probably why I wanted to film for you guys, because I really have not. The last time I filmed, I believe, was January 7th. And I just really haven't been in the mood to film. I've been in a lot of zen energy, like just relax. My hair is like this height. I had not have any haircuts. I braided my hair like by myself, like twisted them and just kind of like left them alone, tied them with my scarf, my head scarf. Just slept well and just relax, really. Let the universe do what it do. Um, so yeah, so happy Valentine's Day to those of you who celebrate this holiday. Um, I don't look at it. We say La Saint Valentin in French. So the schools usually celebrate. Students usually exchange gifts. All of these beautiful things. I do feel the love. My sister had got me like two bottle of wine and chocolates. Like all week, I've been drinking wine and eating chocolates. And so I hope that my father is actually going to give my mom some chocolates, because I feel like I want some more. My wine are done at home. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to go get some more. It's been really relaxed. The weather is very, very dry in Port-au-Prince, like very windy. And I always say to you guys that it's very dusty, so the streets are horrible. I've been indoors, like my face looks really resting. My entire scars have cleaned up just because I've just been indoors, not really out, just taking it easy. I haven't worked, I haven't done anything. I just have not really been in that particular mood. But why am I here? Well, I sort of kind of wanted to greet you guys, but actually I wanted to talk about something that happened at the barbershop on Tuesday. And that's really the reason that I said to myself, before I forget, because sometimes, stuff happen and it happens, and then you're just not in the mood to talk about it. So while it's still a little fresh, which right now I still feel like it's no longer fresh, so I said, before I feel like I'm no longer in the mood to talk about that, let me bring this up. I feel like it would be a great topic to tie in the previous topic that I tie in between the Haitian workers, but also to kind of like show you the importance of understanding the way that you work, and really the importance of making your own money. So you guys know, for those of you who don't know, I actually have two videos. Like the video that I talk about easing into the decade, I mentioned that I no longer work with the barber who used to cut my hair. I have a new guy who is now cutting my hair. So I go for a cut on Tuesday. Now, before we start, let me tell you, because I really feel like I need to be a little detailed with this video so that you guys understand where I'm coming from. The very first thing that I want you to know and to understand is that we're going to take money out of the equation, because it's really not about the money. The second thing that I'm going to say is I don't want you to listen to this video and make a money conversion in your mind, because as I said before, it's really not about the money. I want to talk about sneaky individuals in business, how they will, in like the simple thing that people will do when you appear to be. I am not a diaspora. I've been in Haiti for over a year, and when I am in Haiti, I am a local Haitian person, meaning I shop at the local place. But unfortunately, because of my appearance, one, because a lot of time people will approach me and automatically talk English to me, and I would reply, and I pretty much speak decent English. Um, when you are someone like myself, the sad thing is that people try their hardest to uppercut you, like give you fake price when you go to a store. Like, they'll just price their items based on your appearance, your physical appearance, the kind of car that you drive, the people that you have in your surrounding, the way that you speak. I've been in the past a victim of that, but like I said to you before, we are so not doing that. I'm not about that life anymore. I live in Haiti, and I want to live as a local Haitian person. So, with that being said, the barber shop that I go to now is the previous barber shop that I used to go to before, right? And this is where I met the first guy that I work with, right? And right now, I said to you before, I have a new guy who cut my hair. He's an older gentleman, not so old. I can't pinpoint how old he looks because he doesn't look so old, but he looks mature. Like, he's not a young guy, basically. He might just be, maybe he's in his mid 40s. But the purpose of this video is to also accentuate to you the importance when you, it's twofold, as I'm going to talk about this video. The importance of this video is to accentuate to you the importance of understanding how you work. Many people work and they do not understand how they work. Meaning what? When you work, depending on the field, especially when you work as a creator. As a creator, it could be anything. Maybe you are a digital content creator. Maybe you cut hair. Maybe you do nails. Whatever it is that you do that is mainly in the creative field, it's very important for you to know how to make your own money. The owner of the barbershop that I go to, I don't like him. I've never liked him. I don't like his aura. Like, I've always felt like he was never fair with the barbers that work there. To me, he is a mediocre businessman, and he is also a mediocre barber. Why do I say that he is a mediocre businessman? Because when I look at his barbershop, I always feel like there is a lot more that he could have provided in terms of like comfort, right? Because the reality is that, let me see, I was out of Haiti in 2017, 2018, I was out of Haiti. And when I came back in 2019, because where my old barber used to cut hair is just like down the block. So I would always at times go in front of his barber shop to go down the block. And he would always come out, talk to me and stuff like that before I crossed. He was usually very, very polite with me, right? I never worked with him, so I'm usually also very polite with him. But he is very, very, very sneaky, and he is not a fair boss. And if you know anything about me by now, if you are a regular on my channel, you understand my level of integrity, my level of fairness, my level of just justice, just feeling like, you got to give people what they're due and stuff like that. Now, you guys know that for the most part, I love to hook my hair up, right? That's just something that I do. I enjoy that. It's part of my creativity. It's part of like just me, The barber who worked with me, right? So I got a cut in December, and I think I showed you guys that cut. I filmed with that cut. The guy who worked with me before in the past. He cut my hair with me once. He actually was a reference from the previous guy who cut my hair. The previous guy who cut my hair had always said to me, excuse me, The previous guys who cut my hair had always said to me, if you want someone to take care of your hair, this is the person that I would always refer, because he's going to take his time to cut your hair. And I'm going to be very honest, this guy, this is my second time working with him. The level of care that I received from him actually made me feel good that I just didn't go back to my old barber, because sometimes it's like when people get too comfortable with you, they too are not gonna give you, like, that's one thing when you work with clients. It does not matter how long that you are working with a client remains a client. Like, if you know that you have a client who is very particular, and I know myself, I know that I'm a perfectionist. I know that I love for people to take care of me. Like, when I sit on your chair, when I'm doing any type of transaction, even when I go to the banks, like in the States, like sometimes I'll wait for the teller or the person that I want, because they know that I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna go through all my transaction. I'm a little sexy. I don't have big boobies, so it's not like you guys are seeing anything, you know. So yeah. So this guy, so I went to him, right? And in December. Now, remember what I said to you when I went in December. The owner was actually very surprised to see me there, because he knew that, I had been working with the other guy for such a long time, but the stuff that happened. And the a regular cut at his shop. Now, remember what I said, okay? Remember I said to you that we are not going to take money into the equation, meaning that I do not want you to make any conversion, because that's not the point of that video. I just want to show you the little tricks that people can do to clients, or if you don't know. You understand what I mean? So when you get to his barbershop, he has the listing of the price, the owner. So the owner is also a barber. He's not the best, but he is also a barber. And he has about 5 other barbers working in his shop, including himself. That makes 6 barbers working in the shop, right? When you walk in the shop, he has the list of the services that he does, and he has the pricing, which is mainly men service. So he has how much is it for a cut, how much is it for a cleanup, so meaning like a shape up, how much is it for like your bird, and I think he has something about bird and cut together, something like that. So he doesn't have in his like listing, he doesn't have any pricing for a haircut with a design, right? The last time that I went in, I remember first I called in. So when you called in, he'll tell you what kind of cut are you getting, and he'll say, if you are a woman, I remember like he would ask you how long is your hair, things of the sort, to give you the price. But when it comes to going into his shop and looking at the listing, he actually doesn't really have anything that will tell you how much these prices are. So like a cut with a designer stuff in the start. The other thing is that when you are paying, right? So when you take a service, right, you do not pay the barber. You go to the booth where he has like a secretary that's there, and you pay the secretary. So I'm not so sure the deal that he has with the barbers. I'm not so sure if it's like the number of clients that they do, that they're going half, but he keeps the money. Back in the days when I used to go to his shop, when I worked with the first barber, we used to just pay the barbers. And the barbers, I believe, would break the money half and half with him at the end of every day. So Haiti doesn't really have, I don't know if the new places of barbers, how they work. But pretty much Haiti doesn't really have a system where, the barbers or hairstylists can rent a chair, and it's kind of like they would pay the owners like every week. I don't believe that Haiti has it like that. So anywho, the last cut that I did, which was in December, I did my hair. The guy cut my hair for me, and the guy did a similar design as this one. I think this one is a little complicated because we went this and it was like a line. Let me show you this cut because I really need for you to look at it. Hold on. Right, so that's the cut that we have now. Okay, can you see? That's the cut that we have now, right? So the last cut that I had, it was just a simple line, right? The cut, a regular, so a regular cut is 350 good. That's how much he charges for a regular cut, which to me is very affordable. Okay. So the last time that I did my hair, he charged me 500 good, which to me, when I looked at it, he charged me 150 good more for the design. Did I feel like it was fair? No. Why? Because I felt like it was just a line, because that's what we did. And it was like, okay. But still, 350, 500, it was like, okay. Um, my problem is this. He is the one, the owner, right? He is the one who appraised the price for the haircut and for the design, which to me, I find that it's totally ridiculous. Like, you should not have to price and appraise the cut because you're not working. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you are not the person who's cutting the hair. The barber should know how much he's going to charge because he is the one who's taking the time. He is the one who's doing the work. So let me tell you what happened Tuesday. So first Tuesday I go in, and I had called the guy to tell him that I was on my way. The other thing is I had to sneak to get the guy's number because he doesn't want any client to have the barber's number. And he said that it's because a lot of time the barbers would, go to clients' houses and cut hair instead of like, having the clients come. So he doesn't want that. So anywho, I had to sneak in to get this barber's number because personally, I like to call the person that I'm coming for because you may not be there. It may not be your day. And I'm the type of a person where it's kind of like the person who starts to work with me is the person, if I like you, then I'm going to keep you. I'm not going to like keep jumping from place. No, the person who starts to get to know you, that person starts to understand, your style, your particular head shape, everything. So that person is going to know how to work with you, which is so funny because the first cut that I did with the guy, he did an excellent job. And what I found when I went in Tuesday is that he was prepared for me. I realized that he was working with different tools. I realized like he had like bought a lot of stuff because automatically he already knew. He's like, okay, I'm starting to see her style. And, she's going to be doing designs or whatever. So let me tell you, when I walk in, my hair had grown because I had not had a cut in over 3 weeks. So the entire side of my hair was grown. Everything was grown, right? That man took, now the first thing is when I showed him the picture of the design that I liked, he looked at it, he said, I don't think I'll be able to do that. Have the guy next to me do it. Now it looks like, see, that's where I say, and that's where I start to analyze my style. And I realize that as an individual, because I'm a perfectionist, I tend to bring the ultimate best out of someone. Like this is why I tell you guys that that's a gift that I have. Like I am able, if you have a talent, if you have something and I can pick on that, if you're not lazy, if you let me direct you, I will bring the ultimate best out of you. That's something. Because when I sat on his chair, like when I looked at the design, I was like, okay, it's a little complicated, but I worked with him before. I gave him something that was a little simple, and I saw that he took his time and he delivered and he gave me an excellent job. So I said, all I need is for him to be relaxed, and he's gonna be able to do it. So this is one of the reasons why I went in on a Tuesday, and true and behold, I was the only client. Because when you go between a Monday and a Wednesday, right, there are not many people. Everybody's usually at work. I had an appointment for 11, which I got there 11:30. I was the only client. So he took his time, right? There was not many clients. It's not on a Saturday. It's not on a Friday. It's not on a Sunday, where probably if I went around this day, he would have not given me that best because he's probably not used to doing designs, which I can see why. Because the thing with it is like the owner looks like the owner had hired the guy who sits next to him is the guy that the owner had referred to me. He was like, "Oh, you can go to that guy. He's gonna do a good job. Like he's really good with design." But you can't, like, you're working in a barbershop. You can't pinpoint who is going to do it. As a barber, you are supposed to know how to do anything that a client wants. So you can't hire someone specifically for design and let one person work on design. What it makes is that it makes the other guys lazy, or it makes the other guys might feel a particular way, like you're not giving like the other dudes like their chance to work at their highest level. So I'm sitting there, so I show this guy, the guy who worked with me, I show him the picture. He looked at the picture, and the first thing he says to me, he says, "I don't think I'll be able to do it, like have the guy next to me do it." I said, "No, no, no." No. I said to him, "You're going to do it. No pral doucement." That's what I said. I said to him, "No pral doucement. We're gonna go slow. Take your time. I'm in no rush. You in no rush. On travail." He took the picture. He screenshot the pictures from the what I showed him. The guy got to work. The first thing that he did, he gave me a cut, right? So he cut my hair. And then he proceeded to start to do the design. Now, because he's not, I don't want to say because he's not a pro. Everybody is different. Like the other guy that I used to work with, he's just very creative. So he's observant. Like the other guy that I used to work with, like all I need to do is to show him a picture. Like he'll captivate everything with his eyes, and once he captivated with his eyes, he's gonna work. Here and there he might look at it, but then after that he's working. This guy is not like that. What I realize is that he'll trace the cut first, like he traces everything, but then he does an excellent job. Now granted, he took about an hour to do my hair, because once he was done, he had to perfection the craft. But I work with any guy, like this is the third person who does my hair basically. My guy in the States is a master barber. When you master the things that you do, and when you work with certain clients, you give your best. So for me, 1 hour was not a lot, right? He took his time. But let me tell you something. As he was working with me, I was paying attention to something that was going on in the shop. The first thing that was going on is that a lot of the barbers started to look at him. They were like, "Oh my God, we didn't know that you could do that. Oh, we didn't know that we could do that." So automatically all the attention started to go toward him, right? He started to get a lot of attention, which I realized that he wanted to deflect the attention on him. And in my mind, I was like, okay, you should not want to deflect any attention out of you, because you're working, I know you could do it. So you are doing an excellent job. And the guy who usually is the design guy, I could see that he was a little seated, like, like felt a particular way, because perhaps perhaps that was his thing. Perhaps he was the one who got all the client who wanted to do a design. The third thing that I realized, the owner was sitting in front of us. He was paying attention to the guy working for me. And I didn't like I could feel his energy. And I was like, I don't like the way he's looking at what this guy is doing to me. Personally, I felt like the owner is very jealous and envious. The first thing is like, yes, he knows me for a little while, because let's not forget that I started to cut my hair in his shop. But guess what? Even when I cut my hair in his shop, even when I cut my hair in his shop, right? He never cut my hair. Sometimes you're going to find people who are going to be very envious at you, because you are a worker and you do an excellent job at what you do. This is one of the primary reasons why I say to people, when you know that you are a perfectionist at what you do, and when you know that you can captivate clients, you can do so many things, it is primarily important for you to have your own shit, right? So he's paying attention. Now the secretary, who happens to be like, whatever, She's looking at the way the guy is doing my hair, and she's like, "Oh, so and so, I thought you said that you didn't know how to do a design. I thought you said that you couldn't do any design. Like, why is it now?" Like, it's like, I'm a fucking client. Like, I'm paying for my service. Why does that concern anybody that this guy is working his magic on my head? So anyway, the owner says to this girl, right? Oh, but he said it with a certain tone. He says to this girl, "Oh, so and so has a particular clientele that it looks like he's gonna be doing the design for." Right? Just like that, guys. Just like that. That's how he says it. So automatically I'm like, okay. So the guy is done, takes an excellent time, and as I'm leaving his chair, he has another client who comes in. The other client looks at my hair and he says, he's a man, he says, "Oh my God." He says to the barber, "So and so, you did this?" And the barber was like, "Yeah," but he's very, very like, as an older man, he's a quiet man. You know, a very quiet man. I don't even know the sound of his voice, to tell you the truth. I've never heard that man talk. And the guy who was going to get his haircut says to me, "Madame, your head is fucking beautiful. Like, wow." And I smiled and I said, "Thank you. He did an excellent job." Okay. I'm picking through the fucking sneak ass owner, and I looked at him. His entire face was seated in envy and jealousy, right? So I go to pay. And I say, "How much?" Because the last time that I went, he said something to me right then and there. I should have known, but I did. Because the last time that I went, remember I told you that he charged me 150 good more. So he charged me 500 good for the haircut. And I remembered I said to him, "You need to give me like a flat rate so I know what I'm working with. So if I know that the cut is 350, you need to let me know how much am I going to be charged for certain type of cuts. Because I need to know it's not going to be like a everyday type of thing that, you know, you just have that monopoly." Now, I don't mind, because the reality is what? I've worked with before with barbers, right? It is the truth that the design, the barber has to charge. It's based on the time. It's based on how much time that it's taking the barber. It's based on how complicated the cut is. But the barber has to be able to do that, not you as the owner, the barber. So when I go to him and I'm like, "How much?" He says 150. When he says 150, I couldn't understand, because you remember the whole dollar, Haiti dollar and good, but he whispered that. So I said 150, and I saw that he was, I looked at him like, you know, I didn't really fully understood when he said 150. Yeah, I was sorry about that. Good. So he said, "Yeah, 750 good." Now, when I was coming to the shop, I wasn't really in my best of mood, right? And I had already said to myself that I'm going to see how much he's going to charge me. But one thing that I would never do, guys, is argue with people over money. That is not something that I enjoy doing. So when he said 750, he whispered the amount to me. And when I came home and I was talking to my girlfriends about what happened, both of them told me that I should have never paid that price. But the thing was that, like I said to you, I was not going to argue with this man, because I did not want to give him that leverage on top of me. You understand what I mean? I hope you guys are understanding what I mean. So when he said 750, the only thing that I should have done, I should have repeated the amount loud enough, because personally, this is where I'm saying to you, I feel like he not only overcharged me, because 750, that means that I paid 400 good more with the haircut, right? So the haircut is 350. He charged me 400 with the design, right? Excuse me. And then he whispered. If he whispered to me, that means that what tells me that he's gonna tell this guy, the guy who cut my hair, that he's gonna tell him how much money I paid. So that's the only thing that I feel like I should have, like, when he said 750, I should have said, "Oh, 750," so that the barber knows how much I paid, right? So that's cool. I gave him 1,000. That's good. So he gave me 250, and I gave the 250 to the guy who cut my hair. Now I'm walking and I'm going toward the place where I get my nails done, and I say to myself, we're cutting this shit off. I'm no longer going to be doing any type of hair design at his place. And the reason that I'm not going to do it, because I can see that he is a snake, right? He is a snake, a sneaky individual, a corn artist. Like, he is realizing that, oh, she can pay the price. It's not enough, the last time he probably felt, the last time that he charged me little, right? He probably is looking at me like, oh, that's nothing for her. I can overcharge her. She's gonna pay that, right? And this shit don't work for me, guys. I'm going to teach that man a lesson, and it's really not going to be about the money, because one of my girlfriends that I was talking to, and I explained that to her, she said, okay. She said, I fault you. I give you fault because when he said that price to you, you should have screamed and be like, Kisa, 750? No, I'm not paying that. But that's not my style. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like I'm going to argue with someone over your crooked ass ways. No, I'm going to teach you a lesson. And what's the lesson? Because